But we're continuing in studio with our Sactown Sports Insider, Amil Fragoso, who was at 49ers camp yesterday. OTAs are here. We're getting closer to the season. It's going to be a big season for you on the station, on the website. Follow Amil on Twitter. It's certainly all the coverage. One thing Chris and I were we had a vision of you at the quarterback camp yesterday, throwing righty, throwing lefty. We're like, Amil's a multi-arm QB. Would there be any advantage? I don't think we've ever seen it of a QB legitimately, like, besides Mahomes, who could just run out and just like a little tweak with the left hand, but like someone that could really sling it with both arms.
You know what's funny? There's actually a prospect. I don't know. I couldn't remember his name.
I swear I saw it on Instagram
or college. He's in high school. There's a prospect that does both. He's a dual arm quarterback, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we haven't seen it. I'm intrigued.
It's just rolling out, right? Like that's the only thing that I could imagine it being actually useful for is instead of like rolling out left and having to shift your body.
Even the quarterbacks have gotten so good about throwing across their body, but you're right, just always on the strong arm.
But then again, like kind of back to the initial thing, like what kind of coach is going to say like, yeah, son, like we would much rather have you throw left than just.
It's a ball security issue, right? In the pocket, especially if you want to throw like a different angle pass, so you're on you're on your right hip, you're throwing right, you want to go to your left. You can
he's the insider.
You can see like an edge rusher hitting the ball out because he's trying to switch hands and switch motions. So it's a bit of give or take. I'm just curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, Mikey Gow.
What's that?
Mikey Gow.
Thank you.
In Nebraska.
Thank you, Chris.
He's in Nebraska.
Yep.
He's a junior this year.
Yep. In high school, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any prospect? Any offers or anything?
He'll be the recruiting class of 2025. I don't see anything.
Gotcha. So he's still got to play.
Season's already up.
Nick Saban will probably come from.
Yeah, exactly. There's something there.
I have heard receivers, whether it's that big of a deal, like literally Steve Young, like it's just a little different coming from a lefty than but whatever. That's interesting.
A football is a football. As a former wideout, a football is a football.
Yeah. There you go.
So.
Anything else stood out? We talked a lot about the quarterbacks, and I think that's story number one. I think Chris and I brought up yesterday some of the questions of OTAs. Obviously, O-line with McGlinchey being out, that's a replacement. But any other like hot topics you felt like are pressing right now with the 49ers?
Yeah, there's a few actually. Isaiah Oliver, their new cornerback, nickel corner. He's your starting corner. He's your starting nickelback corner. They replaced Jimmy Ward with a very, very good corner.
He looks good.
Yeah, he had several pass breakups yesterday and was all over the field. Probably one of the most impressive guys on day two. His best play came on a throw from Trey Lance on a deep out. I believe it was to Chris Conley. And it was in a really good spot, actually. But just because of how long he is, it's at 6 foot with a really long wingspan. He's able to get rangy and able to just hit the ball out and keep it away. He's a really physical guy that Steve Wilks is in love with. That's his style of play. And I'm excited to see what he does. I mean, Steve Wilks said it at like 2 weeks ago after the draft. We wanted to make sure we went out there and got the best nickel corner in the free agency. Right. We did that. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. That's bull jive, all that stuff." No, they actually might have done that. So who knows?
I saw you put on talking about Steve Wilks. I saw you put on yesterday on Twitter yesterday that Steve Wilks was incredibly excitable, I guess, or energetic yesterday at practice. Can you talk a little bit about what he was doing out there?
I'm getting a little grin just watching Wilks because every time I love watching the Niners practice because they go at full pace. They go at such intensity that isn't matched in a lot of these guys. I mean, it's OTA. It's May.
Right.
And they're going at full pace, full speed for a lot of this stuff. So with Wilks, after D'Amico Ryans last year, all the guys love D'Amico. How are they going to respond? They were the number one defense in the NFL last year. They lose the best prospect, not a head coach, defensive coordinator. They signed Steve Wilks as a veteran, had some ups and downs in his career. What's going to happen? They love him. They love Steve Wilks. This guy, he said he's not going to be able to coach from the sideline. He's going to go to the booth because he gets too emotional.
Wow.
Run on the field.
He ran on the field all right. I couldn't even think of who it was, but a rookie, I think, like a rookie or a second year, like a prospect guy I think it was Parker, like AJ Parker made a play, like undercut a route and like saw the screen pass from Trey pretty quickly. Steve Wilks got fired up, run on the field, high stepping, all this stuff. Like he was incensed. The whole like defense came on the field, like they were losing it. This is May. This is OTAs.
Right. Day one. Yeah.
In the booth. I didn't realize he was going to be a DC from upstairs. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some guys do that. That's interesting.
Different approach. But again, too emotional, he said.
Yeah. This would be more of the rumor mill because you're watching the actual practice. Is there any talk, rumors out there about Bosa when that deal may get done?
There's really not a lot of smoke to that right now. They're working on it.
Yeah.
Bosa's not there. He's in Florida, which is interesting because Joey, his older brother, he's in LA right now with the Chargers camp because he wants to get more with LA and more. It's been a lot of up and down seasons for Joey.
Sure.
Bosa's.
Is there something to that or no?
In terms of for Nick or
Nick.
No. Nick,
Okay.
this is Nick's plan. Nick likes to work at his state-of-the-art gym with his dad as his trainer. There's only 2 people that are allowed at that gym, Joey Bosa and Nick Bosa. And they work out in Florida and they train like animals.
Yeah, it's worked.
Right. Yeah. If it ain't broke,
Best player in football. He
Yeah.
like best defensive player in football, really. Like Nick Bosa, whatever he wants to do,
Right.
the Niners are going to be accommodating.
Right.
You show up for mandatory
That's
stuff.
all they care
That's
about.
all that matters for him.
Someone who did show up yesterday and from sound of it showed up looking right was Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Sounded like he was in midseason form. What's it going to do for McCaffrey? You mentioned he's kind of started at ground zero with the playbook. What do you think of a full offseason is going to do for McCaffrey this year?
Just a better understanding of the playbook and all the different
Should I
components.
take him first in fantasy? That's
Yes.
really what my question is. Like, are we expecting him to just go absolute? I mean, this is
Well, he led in everything, didn't he? Basically.
I still
you can't think of a better marriage between a player and a system, in my opinion, than McCaffrey and Shanahan.
I still have gripes and complaints about McCaffrey not winning comeback player of the year, not being an all pro first teamer, not making a Pro Bowl. I mean, the guy averaged how many scrimmage yards? Like 1,900.
Yeah,
I mean, the dude
for
was
a
incredible
17-game
for
phase.
for
Yeah.
being a part-time player on the Niners, not knowing the playbook fully
Right.
and being able to. He threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Okay,
He did.
he threw a
he tends to do
touchdown
that.
pass. He had a triple crown. How many times have we
Yeah.
seen that ever? Like, this guy is the ultimate offensive weapon. And
Right.
even though he's getting into that later stage as a running back,
Right.
27, 28, that's older for a running
Old
back.
man.
Yeah.
McCaffrey trains differently. He trains like an
Yeah.
Olympic sprinter.
Right.
Have you seen the workouts he does? He high steps his way through like track and field stuff. Like, he doesn't train like a running back. He trains like a sprinter.
Mhm.
And it shows when he goes on his downhill cuts, because even in practice, when there are no pads on, no helmet, nothing, they're handing the ball off to him on 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. He's hauling up the field,
Yeah.
hauling up the field. This is May. He doesn't have to. He's a all-pro player.
Right.
He doesn't have to work this hard. It's about setting the tone, though.
Yeah.
And that's what's so important for this Niners team is they have veterans and starters who will set the tone from day one.
Right.
Yeah. And to Chris's point, like the perfect marriage, I think if Shanahan can find the sweet spot of getting him the amount of touches without like the super high volume of contact, which I don't know how you
Right.
because I don't consider him like a 25 carry running back,
Right.
but you want to get him
You don't want
25 touches. Yeah.
Right.
And that
you
could
want
be
him
as like
you want him at 20.
yeah, in open space and maybe he catches 10 passes, runs 10, but
Mhm.
they'll figure it out. And but obviously they figured it out last year, but he is tough. I don't want to say he's not tough,
Yeah.
but it's like you don't want to kill the guy.
True. And speaking to that,
Right.
another
'cause
another running back on the roster, Elijah Mitchell,
Mhm.
battled through MCL injuries
Mhm.
last year. He looks fully back.
That's good.
Mm.
The
That's very
MCL
good.
sprains, he had 2 MCL sprains last year. Don't look like it bothered him at all right now. He looks fully healthy. He looked good. He was cutting well up the field.
Mhm.
Also running at a really good pace, running really hard. Yeah, he's going to be used a lot more in that complimentary role this year, which is good because McCaffrey needs to be able to take some plays off.
Mm.
You can't workload him heavy like he was in Carolina. You just
Yeah.
can't.
Who are you looking to make a jump this OTAs? I mean, it can't just be about new additions. Guys got to get better as well. Who are you looking to improve on last season?
Well, besides the quarterbacks,
Right,
in terms of those guys, I would say there was a nice Danny Gray sighting.
Okay.
The
That
wideout
works.
rookie last year.
Yep.
He was relegated down the depth chart because he was unable to block.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who knows if he can block now? But he at least is able to get out. So that's important. They need another deep
Right.
threat next to Ray McLeod. Other guys on the defensive line because they need to figure out their rotation.
Mm-hmm.
They have their starters, but guys like Drake Jackson,
Right.
who bulked up from 250 to 265 over the
Mm.
summer, he looks like it. He looks bigger,
Mhm.
a lot bigger. I'm curious to see how that plays in terms of his speed on the field and his agility because he's a very agile player. But that's going to be something to watch as well. And then obviously Javon Kinlaw.
Right.
Javon
right.
Kinlaw, he slimmed down a lot. He looked a little thin for my liking, but that might work in his benefit just for how he wants to play
Sure.
because he wasn't in the best shape. He was struggling with his knee issue all year, and that weight was waning on him. So we'll see what happens with that.
I don't know if you spend any time over at the Kickers, but I mean, they draft
I did.
Jake
Yes.
Moody.
Yep, Jake Moody.
You get a little heat for that, so you want a kicker to come in and basically make his kicks. How did he look?
He looked good.
Yeah?
That guy has an absolute cannon for a leg.
Yeah.
He was 3 for 4. He made every single
3 for 4.
Yep. He made
Oh, that's not perfect.
We need 4-4 from
Yeah.
our kickers if we
Come
draft
on.
them that high.
Yeah.
There are debates on that fourth kick. It was about 52 yards out, I believe, is what the number was.
Yeah.
He barely just missed it, like
Okay.
inches. And
That's
it was
not a leg strength
it-
thing.
no,
Yeah.
not that dude he could make 65, 70 yards.
Right.
That dude has a cannon.
Mm.
Like unbelievable. And there was wind playing a factor in it too yesterday in the Bay Area. Obviously, that's a factor in the Bay
Yeah.
Area in general, but there was a windy day yesterday that pushed it probably right. And then Zane Gonzalez came up there, also went 3 for 4.
Kicking competition.
Yeah.
They missed the same kick. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, it's early. It's
Yeah.
kickers, it's kicking. But Jake Moody, I think, is going to be a nice addition for this team.
For sure. Anybody, there was a couple guys who didn't make camp. Debo, Trent Williams, Bosa, we talked about. Javon Hargrave also wasn't at camp. Any of those guys, any of those absences concerning at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just making sure. I know they're optional, but I know that it's optional training.
No, none of them are concerning.
Okay.
It'd be hot topic if it was.
Okay.
Debo has
absolutely.
his contract. He's
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
The only one would be Nick Bosa because he's trying to get that new contract. They're working on that. They're not going to let Nick Bosa walk. There's no way in hell they're letting Nick Bosa walk. I'm just saying it right now. He's going to get paid the Brinks truck. And whenever that happens, it happens. Maybe before the season, maybe during the season. I don't know. It will happen though.
Yeah. So what's next? What's just more OTAs?
More OTAs.
Yeah.
They got one more day this week on Thursday, tomorrow, the 25th, and they're back next week. And then they go through, I believe, 2 more sessions, and then the 8th is the last day, I believe, which I'll be out there for.
Okay.
Do we know when we're getting pads?
Fall?
The fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, training camp. They're
Okay.
not. They were using mushroom caps yesterday for the offensive
Really?
linemen. They were. Yeah, they're using the mushroom caps for the O linemen. They still want to protect the offensive linemen as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
And the O lineman, it's required for a lot of that stuff is to use the mushroom
Yeah.
caps. But pads might come at the end of OTAs, maybe mandatory mini camp, but it's going to be a while. They don't want to put pads on if they don't have
Yeah.
to. I mean, they were even doing scrimmage without helmets yesterday.
Makes
Like,
sense.
they're just out there, just kind of running
them
around with a
healthy.
flag.
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
them healthy. Emil, good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Great stuff, man. Thanks.
Make sure you go to Sactownsports.com. Check out Emil's work, including today's piece, 3 takeaways from week 1 of 49ers OTAs. We got a 49ers tab there. Ton of stuff that Emil puts out there. Check out all the content. Chris and I are back with more Chris and Co. straight ahead here on Sactown Sports and Sactownsports.com.